Well, when we started, we were actually just one small section of store. And so we had paint and we had wallpaper at that point. And then the business rapidly grew and we needed more space. So we had only been here for less than 2 years when we took over one of the adjacent storefronts that had been a convenience store. And we expanded and had a huge wallpaper section, which was kind of my thing at that time. So I was very excited. And we had more in-stock wallpaper than any other store in Kingston. So that was, kind of our claim to fame at that point. And so we did that. And unfortunately, just after we expanded and did that, the wallpaper industry kind of took a huge decline. And suddenly no one wanted to buy wallpaper. So we've since turned that part of the store into a spot where we have more of our color centers. We have different paint brands now than we did originally, in addition to Benjamin Moore, which we've always had. And we've also increased how many blinds and drapery type items that we have on display, because that's kind of picked up where all the wall coverings disappeared. So we've done that, and shortly after we took over that space, I think it was a year or maybe 2 later than that, we took over the store space on the other side of our original spot and made a separate contractor entrance. And so we've got a spot where all of the contractors come in and they've got their own space. There's a TV there, so while we're making big orders and things, they've got somewhere to read the paper and just hang out and relax. So.
Well, it's pretty much the same. Our mission statement, although probably not hung on the wall, was quality products delivered by quality people, and I still think that tenet exists today.
At Kingston Paint, probably the most important thing is the camaraderie of the group of people that we work with. And so enjoying most would be just interacting with all of my coworkers. I've been manager for several years now, 13, I guess. And so there's lots of, managerial kind of stuff that has to be done. But at the store, all of us just kind of do everything. So there are things that are specific to certain people and not to others. But we all, essentially, we strive to look after the customers best. And so that's just how things run there. And even though I'm manager, I think we all feel that we're all equal.
The current group of employees are amazing. Many of them have been with me since the beginning. Others have been there for 5 to 10 years. We have had people come and go. We've often had the opportunity and pleasure to employ the local students from St. Lawrence College in Queens. And when you hire them, they're not there for a long time, but they sure bring a lot of high energy to the business. We've had people that have gone on to become electricians, teachers, police officers, senior positions in Ontario Hydro. We have employees that are in the investment business in Toronto. So we've been very, very fortunate to have had them be part of it. And all of those individuals bring a personality and a set of skills that, I guess, create the personality of what Kingston Paint is. And so we're very, very fortunate to have had those people. In terms of hiring them, I mean, we've used all the methods, whether it be Workopolis or the newspaper, or sometimes they're just people that wandered through the front door with a resume in their hand and it just happened to be the right time. And we've been very, very fortunate. We've had some failures over the years, and those folks we probably won't talk about in this interview. But certainly we've had the good fortune to have employed a lot of great people. I did mention a chap by the name of Mike Crafter. He was the first employee that we hired, and he passed away a couple of years back. And became one of my best friends. was a bit of a character. And one of the favorite stories I have about him or being in the store was a gentleman came in and was having some difficulty choosing a color to paint a doghouse. And without hesitating, this guy looked at him and said, 9 out of 10 dogs pick this blue right here.
Crafter, he's an unbelievable guy. I never actually got the opportunity to work with him. I was hired, he had to retire due to health reasons, and that left a staff shortage, and that's actually when I was hired. I hesitate to use the word replace, because you can't replace a guy like that. He was absolutely unbelievable guy. The way he lived his life, he got dealt a really bad hand in terms of health concerns, things like that, but he never let it sort of affect the way he lived his life. He still did the things he wanted to do regardless of what sort of effect it could have on him. He'd come out for beers with you even though it probably wasn't the best thing for him. And he knew it wasn't the best thing for him, but it was sort of he wanted to live his life his way, and I have a huge amount of respect for somebody who wants to do that. And I regret not ever having the opportunity to work with him, but when he came back into the store, and you were putting away boxes, things like that, he'd help out. So even though he wasn't on the payroll, he was still kind of working here. So
Mike was, like I said, one of the first employees with Hal and I, and him and I grew very close over the years. It's hard to believe that really he only worked for us technically for, I think, 3 years. Hal and I figured it out one day, but he was just such a fixture in the store. So even when he wasn't working here technically, he was here almost daily. He'd come and hang out, he'd have lunch, he'd talk to the contractors, he'd sneak out back and fill shelves for us, which he wasn't supposed to do, but he would do it anyway because he just loved it here. And it was his thing, and he missed working here when he wasn't permitted physically because of his illnesses to work here.
That was always a face that you could count on for a smile and a laugh. He always had a funny comment to say, and he was always the one that was he always brought a smile to your face. If you were having a bad day, Mike was the one that could come up behind you and give you a pat on the shoulders and make you laugh and just feel better.
My father, I remember he used to come into the store and he'd give me the odd tip. This was a big part of his life and a huge interest. I think it made him really proud that I took an interest in something he had an interest in. Gave me a good feeling.
We miss him terribly, and he'll always be part of what we are.
It comes down to the way he lived his life. I think when he was starting to get sick and sort of had downward progressions and still maintain that positive attitude, I think that's the one thing I'd take away more than anything else, is just he always had a positive outlook. He was always upbeat. He never let on that anything was wrong, which I think we could all benefit from, and it really kept all his family, the people who knew him well, everyone here at Kingston Paint, from worrying as much as we probably should have. And I think that's the way he wanted it, and I think we could all learn a lot from him.
He's still, I guess, an important part of who we are, and I had the honor of doing his eulogy. I've also had the honor of his eldest son, still works for me, and